seat in the back. We're going to do one more hearing and then we'll
Well, this is Jermaine L. Ruth.
Court at this time takes up State of Ohio versus Jermaine L. Ruth. This is case 14 CRA 1356A and B. Let the record indicate Mr. Ruth is present, together with Counselor Jimmy Mack. Mr. Mack, I have two charges. I believe copies have been provided to you. One alleges an aggravated murder offense with a firearm specification, that being the A case. The second charge is a murder charge with a firearm specification, that being the B case. So do you have those copies, sir?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Mr. Ruth, I'll address you on the aggravated murder offense. As maximum sentence, you're looking at a potential sentence of life without parole. Life with parole eligibility after 20 years, 25 years, or 30 years, depending on what category you fall into. You would be subject to an additional 3 or 6 years on the firearm specification. The fine cannot exceed $15,000 for any combination of the identified sanctions. On the murder charge, which is the B case, you're subject to a sentence potentially of 15 years to life. You would be subject to an additional 3 or 6 years on the firearm specification. The fine is not more than $15,000 or any combination of those sanctions. So do you understand this? Right to appeal if you're found guilty and to have a reasonable bond set in connection with your matters. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
You can call here today to make your initial appearance. Mr. Mack, do you wish to enter a plea at this time or just remain with no plea?
Your Honor, at this time we will be entering pleas of not guilty to both the A and B charge. Your Honor, we will also request this honorable court to set this down for a preliminary hearing. I did talk to Mr. Franklin, and if it is the pleasure of the court, we would like to do this on next Friday, the 15th.
Okay. Mr. Franklin, I'll note your presence as a formal matter. Do you wish to be heard concerning these cases?
Yes, Your Honor. If it pleases the court, it is our agreement with Mr. Mack that if the court has some time and can set aside, that Friday the 15th would be equally convenient for the parties.
I believe right now we have a jury trial next Friday as it stands. Two that are well, we had a status hearing concerning the backup, and that was not resolved, so that's very technically on.
Your Honor, then if it's possible, could we move it back to the 14th?
14th, which would be Thursday, yes, that's actually more doable.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, I've indicated in my entry, the clerk is to set this for a preliminary hearing on 8/14 of 14 in the afternoon.
Your Honor, we would recommend a bond in the amount of $800,000 cash or surety. This is consistent with our with a recommendation we recently made in a somewhat similar case.
Mr. Mack, do you wish to be heard, sir?
Your Honor, I would just ask this honorable court. I was here on last Friday. Last Friday, Your Honor, you set a $100,000 bond on a F5. I would ask, Your Honor, that the same $100,000 would be required on this particular case. Your Honor, again, I'd like to bring it to the honorable court as president that my client voluntarily turned himself in. No one had to go out and search and bring him in. So there is no reason to believe that there was any risk of flight. And I think that would be an adequate and appropriate bond.
State final word.
Your Honor, we believe the potential for flight is there now that the charges are formally filed. Mr. Ruth has heard in open court exactly what potential sentence he may be facing. Further, because of our prior contacts with this individual, we believe that the potential for reoffense or for further offenses during a period that he is at liberty guard is extremely high.
Considering the bond, one of the factors that the court did consider in setting the bond that you referred to, Mr. Mack, was the potential for charges to be filed such as these. I believe circumstances that have transpired since that bond was set would actually warrant a reconsideration of the earlier bond rather than consideration of this bond, because as I identified in court during that bond hearing, one of the things that weighed heavily on my consideration was the fact that these more serious charges could be filed. And I felt it did bear on the risk of flight in that earlier case. I would be open to a bond modification more along the lines of what a 5th-degree felony would be now that the state has, in fact, taken a position in the matter concerning a more serious matter. I don't know, Mr. Franklin, if that factors into the state's analysis concerning bond in this case, but if you have any
No, Your Honor, the $800,000 we're recommending is on the combination of the murder and aggravated murder charges filed yesterday afternoon. We understand now that we have taken a firmer position that the considerations that led us to ask the court to impose a higher than normal bond in the fifth-degree felony case are no longer there, and that a bond in that case more in line with the court's usual custom might be appropriate.
Okay. Mr. Max, is there anything further you want to say, sir?
Your Honor, I do, to just reiterate the situation, that at the time that the warrant was issued for my client was very much aware that he could be facing a murder charge. And I do believe that he has family support, and again, as this court knows, that he's been in the community all of his life. And I've never known him to just flee from this. I do believe that that bond would be excessive, Your Honor. Again, it's just to make sure that someone will appear, and it's not supposed to be punitive and issue to say $800,000 bond just for the fact, and as the court knows, it's really one count, because whatever happens, they're lesser included of each other, so it's really not like there's two charges out there. So I just believe that since Mr. Ruth was the first one who took the initiation to come into this court and turn himself in, that there should be some consideration for that. And again, I ask, if the court would not consider that, then maybe a $150,000 bond would be sufficient in this case.
All right. I'm going to, at this juncture, because this court serves a preliminary filtering function, set bond at $800,000. I'll make it a cash surety bond. Certainly, the common police court, should this case arrive in that court, is free to set whatever bond it feels would be appropriate. I will take note that the drug case was set for a preliminary hearing today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. We had talked to defense counsel about waiving time on the condition that we do that preliminary hearing simultaneously with the preliminary hearing.
I can do that. I mean, if you need some assurance from the court. Okay, I'll continue that hearing. This bond, though, will remain at the $800,000 level, cash surety. The other matter, the felony. For the purpose of the record, is case 14 CRA 1262. That matter was set for preliminary hearing today at the hour of 1:30. That matter will be continued and shall be combined with the agreement of the parties for preliminary hearing with case 14 CRA 1356 A and B. I have previously directed in that earlier entry that the hearing take place on August 14, 2014 in the afternoon. I will leave it to counsel to assign and secure a time for the clerk. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir.